bike lane, right? What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. I am back with another video. This was actually a very last minute video because I'm testing out a new camera and I just want to do some testing and all that, but I figured instead of just doing a very short test ride, I want to make an actual video with the Brutale RR, because why not? The weather is all like gloomy and weird. Summer is officially over. It's about to be fall. So back to Hoodie K, not full on Squid K. Hey, a satin black Model S and a satin white Cybertruck. Okay, it's not a plaid. For today's video, we are going to be talking about the Brutale RR. You guys saw the title. No, I actually don't know exactly what I'm going to title it, but it's somewhere where I'm going to be talking about the things. I'll just do 5 things. So 5 things that G80 is trying to mob or something. 5 things that I love and hate about the Brutale RR. This bike, definitely, if you guys missed the last video, I explained why I have this bike. Since, you know, all the bikes in my garage are kind of like exotic bikes. I like to collect exotic bikes. And this one, while it is definitely exotic, it's not really a rare limited production bike. All my other bikes are limited production stuff. So I explained it, but I'll say it just real quick right now. I'm pretty much waiting for my Assen, the Super Veloce. I wish it was the Super Veloce 1000. The Brutale 1000 RR Assen edition, which is the new Nürburgring edition. Kind of like, it's like the Rush and the Assen versus the Nürburgring, all those are kind of like the top of the line when it comes to Agusta's naked bikes. They're considered hyper naked motorcycles. Technically this is a hyper naked as well, but those classify more as a hyper naked. It's kind of like comparing an H2 and an H2R in a sense. You know, those are just kind of like maxed out with all the carbon and the parts and the carbon wheels and stuff like that. While we wait on the Assen, Agusta, since that bike was a little delayed, Agusta gave me the Brutale RR so I can just ride and film with until my Assen is ready. I was like, why is the mirror so off? I remembered last time I rode this thing, I actually let my friend ride it. She rides a Harley, and she's never been not only on an Agusta, but obviously like a naked. I don't think she's ever ridden a naked bike. So check out that video. It was kind of funny having her ride this thing, and she enjoyed it. With that, I will start with my first. I'll talk about the things I like about this bike first. I think that's more appropriate because there's definitely a lot more that I like about this than dislike, especially after I rode it. It was one of these bikes that were kind of like, when I looked at it, I'm like, yeah, it looks cool, you know, and all that. But when I rode it, I was like, okay, I really like this bike actually a lot more than I expected. Oh, the traction control is a number 6. That's way too high. I put it up really high for her to ride because I didn't want her to go down. You know, it's nice when bikes have technology like that. Why not use it? So yeah. Woo. Pops and bangs will never get old on this thing. And this thing still has a cat on the headers, so imagine completely straight piped. Hopefully on the Assen, it'll be a full titanium exhaust system when that comes. First thing that I love about this bike is the horsepower. Come on, it's a naked bike with 208 horsepower. Bro, that's more horsepower than a lot of liter super bikes. So that's like undeniable. We'll do a little, I'll give you guys a little taste of the power right now. As you guys can see, that was a gradual pull. It wasn't the best pull, obviously. It was a little shaky and all that. Partially my fault. I was just rolling it a little bit. But this bike, undeniably, you can truly test that in like 5th gear, 80, and you just pin it, and look how fast this bike picks up. Look at this. And now we're in the power band, still picking up like crazy. It just doesn't stop, man. It just keeps pulling more and more. It pulls so hard that my mirror got twisted from the wind. and that's just a 5th gear pull. I didn't have to downshift, didn't have to do nothing. So the power is definitely my top favorite thing about this thing. Not many naked bikes feel not only this powerful, but also like a nice power curve. This is not too nothing, literally just an exhaust. So this bike should be riding horribly right now, but still rides amazing. You guys saw I rode with Steve on his V4R, and this bike kept up with his V4R. He was riding this and I was on the HV4 race, and this thing kept up with the HV4 race as a bone stock naked bike. So undeniably, the engine of this thing is so unique, but not only power-wise, the next point is the sound. You guys heard it from all this. Let me give you guys a couple of reds. Listen to that. She just sounds way too good. Just simply cannot deny that this is one of the best sounding motorcycles ever. The tone is just honestly unbeatable. There goes the mirror again. Pretty sure we can tighten it from down here so it doesn't do that, which I actually did remove, but then Alpine Star actually wanted to borrow this bike for a shoot for their company. Yeah, so Alpine Star borrowed it and I got these removed, but they put it back, maybe because for safety, or I don't know why they put it back, but whatever. Yeah, they put back the mirrors on this thing for their photo shoot that they use this bike for. And you guys know me, I love power, I love the sound. This bike has both. And to the third part, talking about Alpine Stars and all that, Alpine Stars wanted to use it for a shoot, that's GP. We'll wait for him right here. Oh, there he is. Hey, I saw the R1M. I was like, there's not many R1Ms. I saw your helmet. I was like, it's GP. What's up? Huh? Just doing a little ride review thing about this. The things I like and hate about it. Yeah, last minute. It's also to test out this new camera. So, where are you going? Home. Home? Pretty much same. I was just going this way, then I'm gonna go that way. Stop somewhere, talk about it, and that's it. That's nice.
You're going on the ride on Sunday, the MB Agusta one?
That was you?
Huh?
That was you?
Okay.
This is catching me out. I was like, what happened to the kickstand? Bro, that was a heart attack. There's an MB Agusta ride on Sunday?
Yeah.
How do I not know about this?
I don't know. They're going, I think it's the Los Angeles one, Russell Corsa, and then San Diego. They're all going to this winery.
Oh.
Sunday morning.
Oh, maybe that's why I don't know about it. How early is it?
8:45, 9.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make that. Bro, not 8:45, 9 in the morning. I'm not making that. I'm sorry. Yeah, sounds fun though. Too early for me. Especially on a Sunday morning, man. Saturday probably gonna be up late, extra late. I'm not waking up early. Yeah. Let's ride? As we said, the sun is peaking now. It feels so nice. The first thing, power, sound. Third thing, looks. I mean, if this thing made it on, if they wanted this bike for an Alpine Star shoot, you know it looks good. You know my favorite color is pretty much satin black. So the fact that this bike is satin black with all the red accents, I mean, it just looks really aggressive. Even when you're sitting on it, like the red here, look how the aggressive lines and everything. For a naked bike, you guys know I already told you before, from the Rush is obviously next level, but this is still up there because this is kind of like, has the Rush's DNA. And it's definitely up there with just the way it looks. It's one of the best looking naked bikes on the market, hands down. Let me know what you guys think of other naked bikes that look good in the market. Obviously you guys are gonna say the Ducati and all that. I do like the Street Fighters. but I just think they're too much of a kind of like a V4 knockoff, a Panigale V4 knockoff. This is why I appreciate the MV Agustas more, because they stand out. They're not like a copy paste from pretty much the other MV Agustas that I have. It's kind of its own bike. I don't like when, you know, like I said, the Panigale and the Street Fighter, they look so similar. The Street Fighter is just an unfair, like non-fairing version of the Panigale, which is the sad part. So yeah, like I was saying, oh, the sound, the crackles, so nice, so exotic. Is that another satin black Model S? They're not plaids, but still, what are the odds I see two satin black Model S's like mine? Except that they're not plaids. But yeah, so we talked about, finally, the looks of this thing. Is definitely one of the most exotic looking bikes on the market. Kind of has its own presence, you know, as the Brutale, the Russian, all of those. It's not like a replica of their super bikes or anything like that, which I really appreciate and respect. Another thing is, that's kind of cute. Another thing is, I do like the new digital dash. That to me is a big thing. Like, that's why I said I wish the F4s had this new updated display dash. There is a little negative about it that I'll touch on when we talk about the things I dislike about this thing. But I still appreciate just the way it looks. This is like in the track settings, and everything is adjustable. Each one of these, I can turn this off, turn this off, turn this off for less info, or I can turn everything on if I want, like all the info displayed in front of me. I love when they give you this level of just the ability to customize your motorcycle, your display, stuff like that. Like, kind of like the Fireblade. The Fireblade has a ton of other different screens and just customizability, which is just nice, because even, let's say, even if you love it, you could eventually get over it, and then you can switch it up. Like on my Rush, I switched it up, and I'm using the non-track screen, and I like that I have the option where it says Rush literally like right under the speedometer. So, you know, it's little stuff like that that makes the experience just more enjoyable, especially when you have such an exotic high-end motorcycle. So that's the fourth part that I love about this bike. Number 5 is gonna be just the fact that, I want to say exotic it is. I always say this, and now I'm glad it's becoming more of a general thing, that I call the MV Agustas the Paganis of the motorcycle world. It's just like, it has a level of kind of like class of respect when you ride an MV Agusta, especially, you know, a bike like the Brutale RR, where it's higher up. It's not the RS, you know, house carbon. The RS is great for, you know, at the entry level, but this is more like, if you pull up on this is a nice, respected bike. It has the horsepower, it has the look, the clean paint job, the extra carbon bits, the Olins, the Brembos, you know what I mean? Like, you're getting the top of the top with such a motorcycle that is already considered like a very high-end brand, an Italian brand that makes literally motorcycle art. Don't even, when I say motorcycle art, the first thing that pops in my head is the new Super Veloce 1000. If you guys missed that video, go check it out. I went to their unveiling of that bike, got the honor to do the first start and revs on that bike, and oh my god, I'm obsessed with that bike. I really definitely want one in the future, but it's also a $70,000 bike. That is obviously like just MSRP starting price, so it's up there, but maybe, because I really think it's one of the, not only the best looking leader bikes on the market, but also I think it's gonna be one of those like timeless machines that is just like at the top of the line. Like, I think it's up there with, you know, like the H2s, the V4Rs. I think it's even like higher up than a V4. I think it's kind of like Super Leggera level with the build quality level and the hardware used. It's more like Super Leg, HP4 Race. It's up there. It's a full carbon bike, full titanium. Okay, I'm getting caught up talking about that bike because I really like it. But yeah, that's pretty much the last thing. It belongs, it's kind of under the entire MV Agusta lineup, but it's specifically like the higher end models of MV Agusta, such as this Brutale RR. Moment of silence for that exhaust. This bike like feels so solid in corners. And now you guys got to hear it. We got to do a couple fun little pulls. Look at that exhaust, man. Straight for MV Agusta. It's stuff like that that makes the bike feel so much more special. Full titanium. Obviously this is aftermarket, but it's cool that MV Agusta offers stuff like this. Got it all nice and colored from just riding the bike. But you know, the MV Agusta logo, carbon, is just like, it's done really, really well. Definitely gives you that, like, as soon as you look at it, you can tell this is a premium motorcycle. It's not just like your, sorry to say that, but your average Japanese motorcycle that has a lot of like cheap parts. This is definitely elevated, but it also comes with an elevated price tag, and that's probably the first thing that I would consider somewhat as part of the negatives about this bike, because we talked about the 5 things that I do love about this bike, and those are the major things: power, sound, looks, electronics in general, because I didn't mention also that these electronics on this bike are definitely upgraded, and they definitely feel better than my Rush. They definitely need some fine-tuning. They need to be better, but also that's coming from a guy that rides an M1000RR, which has some of the best electronics on the market, as well as a Fireblade. Those bikes are kind of very high up, so they set the bar very high. But overall, the electronics on this thing are really great. Nothing to complain about, unlike my Rush, because it was an older model. This is 2024, my Rush is a 2022, so definitely the electronics of that era a couple years ago definitely felt like they were lacking a little bit. This, I don't know if they updated or not. Maybe it's placebo, I don't know. I definitely do feel a difference, or maybe just because it's a Brutale RR, maybe they're a little different in that sense. But regardless, this bike definitely has good enough electronics, good enough tech, customizabilities and all that stuff. And lastly, just the fact that you're on an exotic MV Agusta bike, something that is, you know, unique, special, not just a common naked bike. And then the first bad thing that I would say is the price tag. Now the price tag, the more I know about MV Agusta and the more I ride them, I understand more. They are literally, as I said, motorcycle art, and they come with a ton of premium parts. In general, if you just take a look at the bike and you see the $40,000, or technically it's like $38,000, but let's just call it $40,000 price tag, this is at the level of my M1000RR, the V4R, and a bunch of bikes in that territory. $10,000 is pretty much more than my Fireblade Triple RSP, which is an absolute fan favorite. It is a negative. I think that's kind of high, in my opinion. I think this bike should be around the $30,000. It shouldn't be up close to the $40,000 range. But I also understand why it's up there. I understand that because not only this bike comes with, like I said, Öhlins, Brembos, a ton of carbon fiber, you know, and just the fact that it's an Italian bike. The issue is that there is something such as the V4R, which is also Italian, also comes with parts like this, also comes with a good amount of carbon, and is kind of at that same level. So yeah, they're about the same level, but also like it's hard to, I mean, I could be biased too, so let me know in the comments, because if I'm being biased, I am a superbike fan over like the hyper nakeds in general, but I do think that I personally would rather take, for example, like my M1000RR or a V4R over, you know, a bike like this that is $40,000. That being said, let's say I have these bikes, or I'm a naked bike fan and I want something exotic, something that gives you kind of like that exotic feel of a V4R or M1000RR, then this is the market for you, because it does make sense for the people that, hey, I want a naked bike, but I want something that is exotic and elevated, similar to some of the super bikes that are made. And I don't think there's much on the market besides this. Obviously there's the Lamborghini Street Fighter, but I'm complaining about $40,000. That bike is $70,000. Let's not compare that, because the Lamborghini Street Fighter is kind of like the Rush or the Assen that I will be getting soon, hopefully. But even the Rush and the Assen, those are $50,000, not $70,000. So there's still a big mark or gap between those. So this is kind of like, we would say, the Street Fighter SP. Actually, I would definitely compare it to that. I mean, they look kind of similar. That would be really cool to do a test between the Brutale RR versus a Street Fighter SP. If somebody has one in the comments, slide into my DMs somewhere or something and let's set that up. It will be cool to do a comparison and stuff like that. Maybe do even switch if you guys want to ride this and I'll ride the SP. It'll be interesting because I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe the SP, the Street Fighter SP, is about the same price range as this. So you know what I mean, this is, yes, it's expensive overall generally, but if you're comparing to just the hyper naked market, I think is justifiable. In my opinion, still a little bit overpriced though. So that's the first thing that I dislike about it. Second thing I dislike about it is the fact that there is no rear cowl for this thing. The Asin, the Rush, all those come with a solid rear cowl that just looks so much cleaner. This doesn't have that option, and you can't buy it from MV Agusta either. So you're just stuck with this seat. Obviously, I don't like taking passengers with me. Too many people ask me. I don't want to deal with that. I ride because it's a freeing feeling, and having a passenger makes me worry about them and not ride like I want to and worry about them, blah, blah, blah. So I always take off my pegs, as you guys can see, and it just makes the bike look also so much cleaner. But unfortunately, MV Agusta does not have, like I said, a rear cowl cover right here, which is definitely kind of annoying, especially because they don't even allow you to buy that. I mean, obviously they make it for the Asin and some of the special models, so I would like it if they had that on their website. That's another thing that I actually do like about MV Agusta, is that they have their own MV Agusta website, and they have a lot of really nice high-end pieces that I have a ton of, almost all of them on my Rush, and we'll probably get a lot of them for my Asin too. So that's another thing I like, but it's a small thing, so we won't count it. But yeah, that definitely bothers me. I think this bike, as soon as I remove these mirrors, if I do reservoirs on it, and if I put a cowl here and delete this hideous tail design thing, I'll do something. Unfortunately, I think you can't actually do an undertail here, so I'll either do an undertail thing here, or do like what I did with my Rush. My Rush has a different tail, so I couldn't do an undertail license plate, so I did my plate kind of like right here, Harley style, kind of vertical, which doesn't look like the best, I would say, but still a lot better than this. So besides these two mods and those little things, I think this bike will be almost like perfect. I would delete the turn signals, get the block offs, which MV Agusta offers too. So you know what I mean, it's minor touches. This bike doesn't need too much to pretty much be completely like full, you know what I mean, which I like. The bike already comes super nicely done. Definitely still missing some stuff, and pretty much talking about this is also me saying that it's just harder to find parts for these bikes because they are so exotic. So we said that it's one of my favorite things that these are exotic, but it's also one of my least favorite things because it's so hard to find parts for them. And as someone like me that loves to modify everything to make it more personalized and special to me, it's definitely a little rough finding parts for bikes like this. And I had to do a lot of custom work and cut carbon and stuff like that on my Rush to make things work. So you know, it's a plus and a minus because you have something really exotic, but also a minus because it's hard to modify, man. There's not many available parts for it online. So MV Agusta, if anyone is watching this, please make the rear cowl available for people to buy, because it'll clean up this bike tremendously. It would be cool to come in, you know, I would do just like a matte plain option, because that would go with almost any models. You know, I feel like carbon is a safe bet where it's just like it'll look good, and maybe even have a plastic option, but I feel like plastic, then you'd have to color match, blah blah blah. So I feel like a carbon option would look perfect, maybe in one in satin or matte and one in glossy. That's my second complaint. The third complaint is still the electronics. I think the electronics, even though they're great and they're amazing and they have been improved, they definitely could get a little bit more refined tuning. Like you can see right here, it's definitely been improved. I like also this where it tells you the battery status, but I don't like on the new models, I can't start it until that menu is gone. So on my Rush, I could just start it. Here, I'll do it again so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So right here, see, I can't start the bike. Try again, since maybe the neutral tripped it out. Okay, yeah, see, can't start it, don't need the clutching because it's in neutral. But now hopefully when this goes through, I do like this screen, but now she starts. She sounds too good, man. But this is what I mean. You see how it's like kind of laggy? It has a slight delay. It's definitely gotten improved and it's smoother, but still it's not like
It's a lot better for sure. Now that I'm seeing it and doing it, it's definitely improved from the older models. It's just not as buttery and as like perfect as I would like it to be. So definitely could be improved, hopefully in the future. Sorry, I got carried away because the bike sounds just too good. But yeah, probably when I get home, I'm gonna remove these again, these mirrors, because that's another thing I dislike about it. But that's not a thing I would mention in the top 5 things that I dislike, because it's an easy fix of just removing it. But you know, circular mirrors, I get it, regulations, blah blah blah, they're just, they don't fit the aesthetic of the bike. The bike looks so good and these mirrors just stick out super weirdly and all. But yeah, so I've listed 3 things I dislike about it. Honestly, I'm kind of stuck there. I don't know what else I would dislike about it. The bike has good electronics, traction control, launch control, and everything. Oh my god, there's a huge thing that I forgot that I like about it actually, which I have to add, and that is comfort. The fact, like, if I could describe this bike in one thing, is that it gives you a super bike exotic feel while at the same time being comfortable. I can mob, I can have fun. Back into second, regular shifting. I can mob on it, I can have fun, I can do everything, while at the same time maintaining the fact that I'm like super comfortable and just relax on this thing. Like I said about the electronics, they could be a little bit better, smoother, more responsive. Same thing with the quick shifter. I do like the way the quick shifter feels, how it's kind of like, it has a little click. I kind of don't like it when it's butter smooth, because you tend to do more like false neutrals for shifting in gears. This one gives you a proper click, so you do feel when it clicks, but at the same time I think it could be fine-tuned a little bit better to feel just slightly better. I don't know how to explain it. I think M1000s, the BMWs, are kind of like one of the best when it comes to the shifter, the way that feels, or the HP4 Race actually, but that's also an $80,000 bike, so you know, makes sense. It's just like at this point I'm just picking at the smallest things just to make the perfect motorcycle. The beautiful thing about this bike is that I can be super comfortable, and I'm saying like really comfortable. The seating position with the seat and everything are just honestly like some of the most comfortable I've ever felt, but also at the same time I can mob fast on it and I can enjoy the sound of this thing. So just like, it's just a nice fun experience riding this bike. Okay, now I gotta like literally think about what's another thing that I possibly dislike about this. Honestly, like the biggest thing, even the other stuff I mentioned that I dislike about it are such minor things. The main thing is just the price. If that could be worked on a little bit, this bike could be a true bargain. I haven't had the bike for long enough to talk about reliability, but my friend Jose, Mr. MV, as you guys know him, on his F4RR, his bike has been great and he's been riding a lot. Actually, me and Steve's Ducati's V4Rs keep breaking more and leaking, and my M1000's leaking all that more than the MV Agustas. So reliability wise, I don't really know. We also have Mikey, the Magic Tech, to deal. He's the MV specialist, but so far my rush has been good. I could mention that one thing about the rush. Apparently it's a common thing where the fuel gauge meter or whatever the thing it has gets stuck or something like that, or maybe malfunctions, and that's how that one time, if you guys remember, I got stranded on the rush on the freeway because it told me they had pretty much full gas, but I didn't have I wasn't full on gas, and I ran out of gas on the freeway, and I got really worried because I thought something happened to that bike, and that is definitely unhealthy to run the bike that low on gas. But I didn't know because, you know, the fuel gauge told me that I had full gas. So that's definitely another thing I guess you can talk about. Like, it's a minor thing, but still like a slight reliability thing that on a $50,000 bike like the Rush, I feel like that should have been addressed or fixed easier. So now next time, hopefully at some point, we'll fix it with Mikey. But like I said, I'm getting like to the really picky aspects because each one of the bikes I have has issues. As long as they're minor issues like that, it's not a big deal in my opinion. Big issues is like the M1000RR, which are blown up engines and stuff like that. The new M1000s and the S1000s, like I've heard horror nightmare stories about the new BMWs with all their reliability issues. So if it's, as long as it's not as critical as that, it's not really a big deal where I'm like, oh, that's a horrible reliability issue. Kind of like my Aprilia. You remember when I had that starting issue where the bike literally wouldn't start? Sometimes I have to just keep cranking it a few times. If I do it like once, twice, maybe 3 times, it'll start, and that doesn't always happen. Not critical, kind of annoying. It's probably some sort of fuel pump issue, because I've done everything to that bike and it still had it, like a charcoal canister, blah blah blah, got that all removed, and it still had that issue. So like I said, not a critical issue, so I can't count it as a reliability problem. As long as the bike is running, as long as you're keeping up with basic maintenance and a ride's good, that's all that matters. Little mishaps like that happen to pretty much every bike I've owned. The R1M had the battery issue, if you guys don't remember. There's just like tons of issues that can list with all motorcycles. So again, not something that I would be like, oh my god, this is so critical that I don't want to get this bike. Whatever, deal with it, you know what I mean? As long as the bike is not blowing up and your engine is going kaboom like the new BMWs, which is very sad because those are such beautiful, perfect machines. I guess not so perfect if they're blowing up. Bike feels super solid, steady. Obviously it's a naked bike, so it's not gonna feel the best in high speeds. You guys saw it wobble and stuff like that, but other than that, honestly, I don't know, I can't really complain about this bike. I've liked it so much more. I've been riding it a lot more than I expected. It's a very easy bike to ride, so I've been letting a lot of friends and people ride it and experience it just because it sounds good, it feels good, and it's pretty easy to ride, which is a huge plus too, for especially newer riders and all. That is pretty much it for this review. Let me know what you guys think. It's been a while since I've done the 5 things I like and hate about this bike. So it's kind of an OG idea that I was like, why not do it so I can test out this new camera. So also let me know what you guys think about this new camera. Honest opinion down in the comments below, audio, video, and all that. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please drop a like, subscribe. I'll catch you all in the next one. I'm trying to think what the next video is going to be, but I have no idea. I'm in the random territory right now, so we'll see. But yeah, peace out and ride safe, guys.